Hello, Twitch. We are back. We are back, I think.
Yep, that fast, that quick. We're back in your lives.
My Twitch is not loaded again. I gotta back out and back. Pop back in. But now we're back. Well, I'm back. I was never left. We're here. What's up, guys? It's the Money Match Gaming talk show podcast. Christmas special, Thanksgiving parade, extravaganza. Best time of the year for every time. We're talking today about the gaming awards. I am one half year hosting team. My name is Dan Estrata. I have no AKAs. Next to me is once again Lance the Infinite.
Was good.
Yeah, we're talking about the game awards coming up December 6th on all the streaming services, I'm pretty sure. It used to be on Spike TV. I don't think that's even a channel anymore. Sorry, I dropped my pen. So yeah, it's on pretty much all the streaming services, and we're gonna give some predictions of what we think who we think might win, or who we would like to see win some of these awards. So we have a list here, and you know what? We're gonna end with Game of the Year. So why don't we just go backwards with these? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
All right. So some of these I don't necessarily have answers to, because I don't know the answers, but we're going to do our best. So let's start at the back end here. We have Content Creator of the Year. The nominees are Ninja, Pokimane, Dr. Lupo, Myth, and Willie Rex. Lance, who'd you say?
I think this is a no-brainer.
I think it's also a no-brainer. And nothing against these other four nominees.
Yeah. I actually know a lot of them.
I know Pokimane. I saw a video of hers recently playing with some kid who wanted to bang her, like some 12-year-old kid. I felt
that was
really
actually pretty wild back
for her. But yeah, like playing Fortnite and shit. But yeah,
it's
I've heard of Dr. Lupo. Myth is another big Fortnite guy, but the answer is Ninja, right?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I would
any other answer?
I mean, there's legitimate reason to vote for some other people on this list, but the only reason I would pick Ninja is because he's done so much for the culture. He's making it
just his growth, man. His growth from this time last year to now is exponential, dude. It's crazy, and just the amount of people. Like, Ninja is almost a household name as far as gaming.
Yeah, and that's
mom knows the name Ninja, and she doesn't know shit about games. It's not something she cares or needs to know about or wants to know about. But she's heard of Ninja,
right? And that's definitely where I would go with it. Is he's done so much for the culture? He's just literally bringing it to the forefront to where he's getting really, really popular people who obviously play video games to play the game, in real time. He's brought so many different creators to Twitch, I think, simply because of what he's done with Drake and some of the other, rappers, and he just penetrated culture in a way that I feel like hasn't been done until now. We have these giant tournaments, we have all these different things going on in the space, and it became real once Ninja did those things. Then it hit everybody's radar to where it was like, oh, I guess we should be paying attention to Twitch. I guess we should be paying attention to esports. It hit almost every news outlet there is. Everybody knows who he is at this point. He's actually getting really big sponsorships. Everybody's right. Everybody realizes that it's a real thing and that there's a lot to be said about the esports community, about gaming in general. And, you have to award that when you can,
Yeah, I agree.
If there's a history book of any kind, it would be strange if Ninja wasn't there, because I think he's kind of done that much for the community and, in a
pretty quick amount of time too. Not saying he wasn't, he didn't exist before Fortnite, but really his Fortnite streams is what took him to the next level, and Fortnite's been out for only a little bit over a year. So to the amount of growth that he's had in this past year is just really, really something to marvel at.
Right.
Okay, so we're both in agreement there, Ninja. I think it would be surprising if anyone else won that award. And I would totally welcome it. I'm sure all these people Like I know Myth, I know Pokimane, I've heard of Dr. Lupo, I've never heard of Willy Rex, but I'm sure to their own extent they all deserve it in one sense or another. But it would really surprise me if it's not Ninja.
And they
But
pretty much everybody on the list. I'm like you. I don't know who Wiley Rex is, but everybody else had a pretty decent come up as well.
right.
In the Fortnite genre, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Fortnite led to the come up of a lot of people, honestly, right now.
Right.
So the next category we have here is Best Esports Host. The nominees are Sajokes, I think that's how it's pronounced, Machine, Alex Richardson, Red Eye, Anders Bloom, and Golden Boy, aka Alex Mendez. Now, I don't know who any of those people are. So I don't have an answer for this one. Do you have an answer? Are you familiar with any?
Really, the only one I know is Red Eye. So
All right, so Red Eye is getting the vote.
He's
Red Eye,
basically
bring home the W.
right, and that's only because I'm hyper specialized into different kinds of events. Esports events. I do watch a fair amount of tournaments just to get an idea of like how those things go.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't watch a whole lot of esports. I watch very minimal. I watch like the Overwatch League, and I don't think any of these guys are Overwatch League guys. So
no, I don't think so.
Knowledge goes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so the next category, Best Esports Event. We have the Overwatch League Grand Finale, the League World Championships, E-League Major Boston, the International 2018 for Dota 2, and EVO 2018. What would you say of those is the best esports event?
I didn't watch all of them. Actually, I didn't watch any of them this year. I caught like small glimpses. I might catch like specific games of those actual events. But, I kind of have to just go off of, like, my gut in a sense in this situation. Because there's a lot of stuff that, like, there's a lot of categories. And it's, like, really hard to keep up with all of it. But I would have to go Dota 2, the Invitational.
International.
Or Internationals, sorry. Mm-hmm. Mainly because that is the whole reason that this company exists, believe it or not. The International, me watching the International was like, wow, I would feel great if I could actually do things like that. And just seeing the amount of money they give away to the actual professional players, how their events actually look. Like, if you watch them, they're, like, freaking amazing, man. Like, they have, like, 3D projections of the different heroes in the game. The teams, they have, like, special events, Like, there's so much money in it that I have so much respect for it. And I feel like, like, even if they don't get the credit, of like bringing, esports to like front and center and all that other stuff, I think they deserve a lot of credit because I don't know, they blew me away. To this day, I'm still shocked at the value that they actually bring, whether it be the prize pools that they offer. I think the year I did watch, it was like $20 million, $20 million. No, it might even be higher than that, dude.
Yeah,
Let me look at those prize pools.
The prize pool in the international is crazy. I went a little different route. I went with EVO, simply because I feel like that's the most approachable one. I mean, while the rest of these single around one specific event, Overwatch League Grand Finale, that's Overwatch League. Like, that's just Overwatch. League World Championships, you're watching people play League. EVO, you can watch some people play Smash. You can watch some people play ARMS. You can watch some people play Street Fighter. You can watch people play Tekken. You can watch people play Dragon Ball Z Fighter. So there's more options for the cat. Granted, they're all fighting games, so you got to know you're getting into fighting games right there. But I think it is more approachable, being that you're able to kind of switch and dance around with what you're watching, and it's not just like every time you're watching the same thing over and over again.
Right. And it always is nice to have multiple games in the space because there's a lot of games that do deserve the spotlight. But, that's really the only reason it got my vote. Again, I didn't get a whole lot of time to watch a lot of those different kinds of events. They're kind of whole weekend long events that last all day. So,
yeah, I mean, I could totally see why this EVO, like this year's EVO, maybe not the best. There were some things about it that were great. I think Sonic Fox in Dragon Ball Fighters. And then there was a fair amount of it that was not great, like the dudes throwing in
the Bayo.
The Bayo main.
Smash 4.
And Smash 4. So, like maybe this one isn't the right answer, but honestly, personally, I always feel like a larger larger pool is better than just watching the one game for an extended period of time, because it can get boring after a while, man. Just watching people play the same thing over and over again. Like, yeah, I mean, I understand they're playing different characters and stuff like that, but you're just watching the same. Like, it's like watching an 8-hour football game. Like, that would get boring after a while, in my opinion. Maybe not to everybody. So if you like watching 8 hours of the same thing, cool. I like that. Cool. You like that. Cool. And I love the Overwatch League. I mean, I like the grand finale, but my team wasn't in it, so whatever. Screw them. Evo all day. So the next category we got here is Best Esports Team. We have Fnatic from League of Legends, Astralis from CSGO, Cloud9 from League of Legends, London Spitfire from the Overwatch League, that I don't understand why they're even on there, because they are not. They were like the third best Overwatch League team this year. Come on, London Spitfire, like, really? Whatever.
Wasn't there like a small period to where they really started winning a lot and really
the
changed
very
the
beginning?
state?
The very beginning, they were the best team.
Really?
Yeah, and then New York, like, they won week, or like section 1, phase 1. I don't remember what it's called, but then New York won 2, 3, and I think Philly won 4, and then Philly won the whole thing.
Okay.
Right? I think that's right. Maybe London did win the whole thing. No, I don't think they did. New York didn't. I know that much. I was upset about that. But I went with Cloud9 from League of Legends, not because I have too much League of Legends experience or know what teams are good in League of Legends, but I did watch a performance of Cloud9 playing League of Legends somewhat recently, and I thought they were really good. So I was like, you know what? That's who I'm choosing.
I think they're of significance because I'm not sure if they made it to like the grand finals, but essentially this year in League of Legends, it was the first time non-Korean teams made it to the top 4. So like the top semis or something like that. Usually the Koreans just dominate, and this year Fnatic and Cloud9 made it into that upper echelon of players and stuff. And again, I don't remember specifically if it had to do with specifically the grand finals, or if it was just, those two teams made it to the top 4 or something like that. Because I know it was something like that, which is just, it's just never been done. So this was like kind of a history situation. And I also went with Cloud9.
Yeah.
So, cool. I actually like a lot of players on Cloud9. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of players. I like Sneaky. Sneaky's
I like
funny.
that. The company of Cloud9 extends into multiple sports too. Like,
correct.
You got a Cloud9 team for Rocket League and CS:GO and stuff like that.
Hearts of the Storm, or Heroes of the Storm. Sorry, I even think Hearthstone too. Hearthstone.
Probably,
yeah.
They probably represent.
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot.
It's mainly like a sponsorship company. I don't even know what.
Right.
Does Cloud9 sell products of some sort?
Shirts and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, but
hey, Money Match Gaming's getting there. Trust me, man. We're gonna do that.
So yeah, the next thing we have is Best Esports Player. We have Jajonak from NYXL from Korea from the Overwatch League. We got Jajonak. He plays Overwatch. We have Simple, who plays CS:GO. We have Uzi from League of Legends. We have Tokido from Street Fighter, and we have Sonic Fox, who plays a lot of different fighting games, so I couldn't just attribute him to one. I just wrote Fighting Game God next to his name. So Best Esports Player of the Year, who you giving it to?
It's easy, man. Sonic Fox, man. He literally has everything I feel like the esports community needs as a whole. He's just truly a personality that you actually want to know. He's unique, all thick and through, like all the way through. You're like, he's unique. He's like a furry. He's gay. He's open.
Furry?
He's like
the only gay furry I ever knew who would like just also a fighting game pro and will talk shit at me while beating my ass while he's wearing his fursuit. Like,
right. And
there's nothing I can do about that.
I mean, and he's just like the champion of champions. Like, if he went on a Wheatie box, I wouldn't be mad. Like, how do you go to so many different games that take such a high level of skill to perform on such a high level and win?
Yeah.
And win, not just perform great. No, like, I walked away with like 4 trophies because I am that guy. Like, that kind of good is just incredible. Tons of seconds. A lot of firsts, that's just hard to do. It's hard to perform on that level. And, at the same time, you're not willing to talk crap. You're not willing to settle scores. You're not not willing to do any of those things. You step up to the plate and it just has to be respected. everybody else on the list, a few of them I have heard of, but
I mean,
gotta go.
I have Sonic Fox as my choice, but my runner-up was definitely Jajonak, as he played for my favorite team in the Overwatch League, New York Excelsior. He is an incredibly amazing Zenyatta, crazy accuracy, so effective just playing. Like, oh my god! Anytime I play Zenyatta, I try and emulate him to the best I can. I can't do at all good.
Right.
Like,
Wasn't he the one that got Zen nerfed too? Like,
possibly. I
yeah.
mean, he's so dominant with him. He's like extremely dominant, hitting mostly headshots, being able to consistently throw out healing, get the discords out, calling right, surviving, which Zen is a difficult character to survive with. He's only got so much health and he's pretty squishy. He's not fast, but this guy Jajonak is incredible at that character. And he's decent with some other characters too, but when he's on Zenyatta, it's a wrap. It is a wrap.
Yeah, he got the character nerfed, by the way. I'm pretty positive.
So next we have best esports game. The choices are CS:GO, Dota 2, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Overwatch. What is your choice?
This is kind of like not a gimme, but I have to go with this. The same reason why I would have to give it with Ninja, which is Overwatch. They're like the first one that actually created like the real sense of what a real league looks like in the real traditional sense. And I feel like that deserves respect. That does not mean that it's beating all these other esports communities. Right. I'm going to be honest about that. But just the simple fact that they kind of made history and made it a real
they're the first one
thing.
to really take the jump into being closer to the sports side,
Right. And like, there's obviously some downfalls to the league. There's a lot of things that we even discussed on our podcast about that specific stuff. But like, I got to give credit where credit's due, and it has to be Overwatch. Again, not the greatest esports scene, for a number of reasons, but you still deserve it.
I agree. I have Overwatch as well. I think Dota 2, League of Legends probably make way more money. CS:GO might have like a bigger fan base. Fortnite I didn't think was in question here as far as esports go. Like it's popular for streaming. The esports side of it is a little not quite as good. It still needs a little bit of work, and that that's kind of the way the game works. A lot of it is luck based and stuff like, well, not luck based, but RNG, depending on what guns you get and stuff like that. But Overwatch, just the strides they've taken with the Overwatch League, where they're trying to go from here. Being able, like, they're adding now teams to the Overwatch League mid-season, or not mid-season, but like postseason. There's, I think, 4 teams being added this year: Paris, Atlanta, and 2 Chinese teams, I want to say. So yeah, I think that Overwatch is the right answer for that. The next one is one that I actually I have not played any of these games, sadly, so I didn't have a response for it. But best debut indie, we have Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger, and Yoku's Island Express. Did you know any of these? Have you played any of these?
I haven't actually experienced any of those games, so I was in a very similar boat. We have been playing quite a few indie games, but obviously they just take a lot more time to actually review. So
and there isn't best indies category. This is just the debut indie. These are first time games made by people, which I just didn't get a chance to check out any of them. I've been thinking about checking out Donut County. I know that's a mobile game, so maybe that could be fun. Give it a shot. I don't know, but most of these I haven't checked out, so I do apologize for that.
Yeah. But I think it's fair for us to guess, though. I feel like we should at least throw something out there. And
I'll go with Florence then, because I've seen that name the most on this list. Otherwise, Donut County and Florence pop up a few times, so I'm guessing it's going to be one of those.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them, so I'm just going to go with the name that sounds the coolest, which is Yoko Island Express. Something about that's appealing, So I mean, even if it is a shot in the dark. Let's throw them darts and
and here's another one where I'm gonna have to do a shot in the dark. We got
same thing.
Best student game: Dash Quasar, Jera, LIFF, Combat 2008, and Recharge. I'm gonna give it to Dash Quasar. I guess literally never heard of any of these games. I apologize to the students who spent time making them, but I haven't given them the chance to play them. But there's been so many other games this year. I apologize that I have not been able to get them.
Oh yeah, and no, definitely no disrespect whatsoever. I'm kind of the same boat. But I have heard of Recharge. I haven't seen any gameplay footage or anything like that, but I'm pretty positive I've heard of Recharge. So they get my vote.
All right. So now we're going back into categories that I do have answers for. And the next game we have is Best Multiplayer Game of the Year. The choices are Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Monster Hunter World, Sea of Thieves, and Fortnite. And I think this one is another pretty obvious one. And I think everyone at home who's listening can probably tell by the way some of these answers have been going. The answer is Fortnite.
Easy.
It's an easy one. And I like a lot of these games. I like Black Ops 4. I like Monster Hunter World. Sea of Thieves, I liked in theory. I didn't like it in execution. I wasn't the hugest fan. I thought it was kind of boring. Destiny 2, I've heard it's gotten way better. But it's without a doubt it's Fortnite. Fortnite, it's so huge right now. It is impossibly huge right now. Like, that's it. There's no debate there.
Right.
So we'll just move on to the next one because do you have anything else to say about it?
No, it's just easy. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, Fortnite's I wouldn't say they're breaking records. It's just simply shaving away at people's idea of what gaming is. I think there's plenty of games beforehand that do that and do it just as well. Halo's one of those games, to where it literally changed what gaming was to a lot of people and to the general public. And this is just another, chip away at that simple idea that gaming's here to stay, basically. So, yeah, it's Fortnite. Easy.
So next we have Best Sports or Racing Games. The choices we have are FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, and the second soccer game of the entry, Pro Evo Soccer 19. Have you played any of these? Did you
No. Mario Tennis, but I don't know. I've been listening to you and Alvin and other people around me, and I guess my vote would have to go one of two places. Just because it's really unfair for me to vote on this anyway, because I'm not a big sports game guy, which would be Forza Horizon 4 and NBA 2K19. You guys both said that those games were pretty good, I believe, in the past.
NBA 2K19, I do not have. I have NBA Live this year.
Okay.
I am against NBA this year, NBA 2K, because it's too much of a money trap. Like, that's all it is. It's a cash grab. So I don't respect it, and I don't want it to get this award. So my answer is Forza Horizon 4, because that is a genuinely fun game. At no point is the game poking me to be like, hey, give me some of your money, other than, when DLC comes out or something of that nature. And I just think that game is beautiful. I've been talking up actually a lot about it recently to different people, and I really enjoy that game. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I mean, the last few Forza Horizon, I really enjoyed. They had some great DLC. That Hot Wheels DLC was incredible. They announced the first DLC for this Forza Horizon coming out soon. So that's exciting. Next one, we have Best Strategy Game. We have BattleTech, Frostpunk, Into the Breach, Banner Saga 3, and Valkyria Chronicles 4. Lance? You're the strategy game guy.
It is. I've played a fair amount of them, not all of them. But, just basically what I get off of the feeling of like the ecosystem, I'm going to give it to BattleTech. It's kind of like one of those games that kind of reminds people like, oh yeah, this is a legitimate place to make video games, because I think we're still stuck in the first person shooter trap to where that's the only thing publishers want to make, because I mean it makes sense,
it's profitable.
We've talked about the numbers and how many people play them and where people spend their attention and so on and so forth, and I think people just need to be reminded that there are other games that are worth your time, which is why when we get to it, God of War is on the list, and I pretty much give that the vote, a lot of the times, just because it's one of those games that reminds people like, yeah, it's profitable. You guys have just been making shit. And, quite honestly, I think that's kind of true across the board. Is like a lot of companies are just making bad games and then going, well, why aren't you guys buying? Well, because they're kind of bad, brothers. They're bad.
Yeah. I've never really played any of these. I played the demo for Valkyria Chronicles 3 or 4, but I'm giving it to Banner Saga 3 only because I know the first two Banner Sagas were really well received. I've only heard good things about them. So I imagine the third kind of kept that up as they're like made by a smaller company. So I imagine that the heart of the game is still there. And yeah, I'm going with Banner Saga 3.
Cool.
Next categories, we have Best Family Game. The choices are Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, Starlink Battle for Atlas, and Super Mario Party. I'll go first with this one. I said Overcooked 2, which is a lot of fun. I played that recently for the first time. I went to a buddy's house, and his brother had it, and he was like, yo, we got to play this game. And I was like, a cooking game? What is this, Cooking Mama? And I loved Cooking Mama, so I don't even know why I said that like in a begrudging tone. But it was great. It's a lot of fun. It's super hectic. It's chaotic. You can get angry at your friends, but it is a lot of fun. I very much so enjoy it, and I like how they added the online play for this one. I've been tempted to buy it on the Xbox One if I can convince some other friends to play it with me, because it's not fun to play by yourself, but it's a lot of fun to play with a group of friends.
Overcooked 2 is my answer as well, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the list. It's the only game that I would actually play with my family. So my wife actually comes downstairs. All my friends come. We sit down and we play. I play it with my brother. It's actually a family game. I feel like Mario Party, Mario Tennis, that's actually a little bit more hardcore gamer type of thing. But that is definitely a game you can sit down and anybody can play.
Because someone can get like seriously good at Mario Tennis Aces and Mario Party and just kind of dominate, Whereas this one, it's really like you can understand what you need to do for the levels, but you still have to work. It's a cooperative, so you got to work together. You live and die as a team,
Right. And we really throw down at the kitchen. You can be good at that game too, and I would say like sometimes it's a well-oiled machine. And other times,
you like, but you have to be. You can't. It's hard to carry in that game, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Like one person can't just like do the brunt of everything because they can't. They just don't have enough.
Yeah, time.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those situations. But definitely that game. I agree. I hope it wins.
I agree. I hope it does too. Best fighting game. We have Dragon Ball FighterZ, Soul Calibur 6, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, and Street Fighter 5 Arcade. There's only 4 choices for this one. What do you got?
I got Dragon Ball Z. Quite frankly, the only one that I couldn't see winning would be the Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, because I don't think anime fighters have like made it into the mainstream yet. But just for this is another culture situation. Do I think it necessarily deserves the dub in this situation? I don't know. Some of it's just pure clout.
I honestly think it does, because of all these games, I think it's the most approachable. Like, granted, Soul Calibur, the create your character aspect makes that somewhat approachable, but it's not a hard game to learn. It's a hard game to master. There's a lot that is going on there, but you can get around this game by pretty much just smashing the X button, which makes it easier for younger and less experienced people to get into this game and enjoy playing it. Plus, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a really hectic, crazy time of a game. So that's why I chose it.
I chose it just because it's kind of not a shoe-in. It just holds so much clout just by it being a Dragon Ball game.
Yeah.
And so.
But I mean, other Dragon Ball games have really not lived up to the same potential that this one has.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's not a good game. I just don't know if it's a clear winner. Like, yes, this one should take it, because I've heard plenty of good things about Soul Calibur 6. I have not had a chance to pick it up yet, but no one seems mad at that game.
No, it's good. The only one I think that won't win. I mean, I don't think Street Fighter 5 Arcade will win, just because Street Fighter 5 has been out for so long, and Arcade really didn't
add a whole lot to the game. Right?
I have Street Fighter 5 Arcade, and it's just it's Street Fighter 5 with a couple more features and stuff, but it's nothing like Oh, this crazy update. Like
Right.
most of the stuff was added prior to this anyway.
Right. And so again, this is another situation to where people are like, you guys should just really make good games, please. We'll continue to buy. Just please, just make a full, complete game. Stop
Yep.
selling things in chunks.
Yeah. The next up, we have Best RPG. Last year, I thought this was probably the category where I had the most things that I liked in it. This year, a little less so. Not because I haven't liked these things, I just haven't played a lot of them yet. But we have Dragon Quest XI, Nino Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, and Monster Hunter World. What do you got?
Uh, I had to go off pure hype in this situation. I've played a fair amount of the games on the list, I think. No, I haven't. I've played Nino Kuni 2, and that's about it. I have plans to play the other ones, but I went with
No, you
Dragon
played.
Quest 11.
You talked about Monster Hunter, so I imagine you played it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Um, I think Monster Hunter World will win this category just for sheer how good that game was received and stuff. However, I chose a game that I got for my birthday, Dragon Quest XI. Can't see it. There it is, Dragon Quest XI. So I just started playing it. I played like 15 minutes of it. I haven't really gotten a good chance to get in it. But I can tell I'm going to enjoy it. I like these style of games. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give my vote after playing it for 15 minutes.
Is it like a JRPG or is it like a
Yeah.
actual traditional
Yeah,
turn-based?
it's a turn-based, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure I'll like it when I decide to pick it up.
Yep.
Until then.
And that's, once again, I've played hundreds and hundreds of hours. Well, not hundreds and hundreds, but I've played at least 100 hours of Monster Hunter World 2 and 15 minutes of Dragon Quest. So it's saying something. I just like the style of RPG better in Dragon Quest than I did with Monster Hunter. Mainly because there's also a better story, I'm thinking, with Dragon Quest than there was in Monster Hunter, where Monster Hunter was kind of just like, you're on an island. There's monsters.
Yay!
Them, I guess, and take their skin and wear it as armor, whatever. But the game was fun. The game's a lot of fun. I'm not gonna take that away from it. But it does become a grind fest at a certain point. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on. Best adventure game. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'll go first because I think you've gone first for the last couple, so I'll go first for the next couple. And I had Spider-Man. I have Spider-Man. This is the first time you're hearing me say Spider-Man. It's not going to be the last time you're going to hear me say Spider-Man throughout this list. I think God of War is a great game. That is pretty much my close second. For every category it comes up against Spider-Man, but it very few times does it inch it out. I loved God of War. Spider-Man was special, though, because Spider-Man had a lot of hype to live up to, and it exceeded the hype, and they created something really, like, it's not long. It's not a long game. It's not a crazy in-depth game, but it is really beautiful. It is really fun, and really, like, going from Spider-Man and playing another game is wild because of just how fast everything moves in Spider-Man and how in touch with everything you feel while you play Spider-Man. Where I don't feel like not another one of these games really gives you that. And I just got Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so I haven't played it yet, but I love the other Tomb Raider games. But something about this new Spider-Man game was like really, really well done for me. So that's what I'm giving it to.
All right, so I'm obviously gonna be the opposite in this situation. I'm gonna give it to God of War. I've not played God of War, mind you. It's just one of those games that kind of I loved the conversation around the game. I think we've talked several times throughout several different episodes of our podcast and stuff, and I'm just a big advocate for different kinds of games, different genres, and it was really refreshing to hear everyone in the general zeitgeist say, yes, you guys can still make games like this, and we will play them. You guys have literally just done a horrible job up until this point. And that's just kind of what you guys need to realize, is that if you make a good game, people are going to like it. And although we've fallen into the trap of, the first-person shooters, and that might be Halo's fault, and like I get all that kinds of things. Halo's like one of my favorite games of all time, is my favorite game of all time. But I just enjoy that conversation. I enjoy that that's what it sparked, and kind of what mark it left on the general community of gaming as a whole. Because a lot of people don't have a lot. Like, I don't know anybody that has anything actually bad to say about God of War. Although I will recognize the mark that Spider-Man made, and how it was so damn hype, and like, again, it was another situation to where it's a single player game and people just enjoyed the shit out of it. But I still got to give it to God of War because of that simple mark. You just get my vote.
Yeah, that's fair. Best action game, we have Dead Cells, Far Cry 5, Mega Man 11, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, or Destiny 2 Forsaken. I think this should be an easy one. If you guys have been paying attention to other episodes I've been in, I'm a big fan of Dead Cells. Big fan. It's one of my games of the year. It's in the top 3 for games of the year, with probably God of War and Spider-Man. So yeah, Dead Cells is definitely getting my answer. I think that is an underappreciated game and a very, very good game.
Okay. So for me, again, this is like kind of a reference to some of our old podcasts and stuff, but there are games that have like a little bit more significant meaning to me. And even though, again, this is a situation where I just didn't have the funds to go ahead and buy Mega Man 11, but it's going to get my vote just because of the significance it has in my life, my gaming career, and, I just appreciate it. So why not give some love, even if it's probably not going to win in this category. And then also, I hate Call of Duty games, by the way. If I've never expressed that enough.
Oh, I hate Call of Duty games too, but this actually called Black Ops 4 is fairly good. Because they didn't focus, there's no single player, which some people may see that as a negative, and I did too, until I realized that by not having to make a single player, they made a really, really good multiplayer game. It feels really, really smooth. It feels really clean. It's still as frustrating as any other Call of Duty game, but it feels good. And that's important, I would say. Yeah, so next category we have is Best VR AR. The choices are Tetris Effect, Beat Saber, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Firewall 0 Hour, and Moss.
I mean, I've never played any of these games. The only one I've heard of was Beat Saber. So I guess I'll give Beat Saber my shot in the dark, but everything else is a little foreign to me, so it's disingenuous for me to give it a real legitimate shot, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I'll just Beat Saber.
I have a tie between also Beat Saber because I'm a big rhythm game guy, and I think that game looks awesome. It's like playing rhythm games as Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader or pretty much any person with a lightsaber. But I'm also tying it with Tetris Effect, which I just played that game this weekend, and it is very good. Like, you're like, oh, Tetris. Like, how do you make Tetris better? Well, Tetris Effect does a damn good job of it. And in VR, I think it would be incredible because it works kind of like Lumines in the sense that the music kind of is a big part of the game, and you kind of control the music by your dropping and moving of pieces to make it your own sort of thing. And you play sometimes to the speed of the music playing in the background too. And it's a really, really cool experience. If you haven't looked anything about Tetris Effect, I definitely recommend checking it out. It is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Cool. So next we have Best Mobile Game. And the choices are Fortnite, PlayerUnknown's Battleground Mobile, Reign's Game of Thrones, Donut County, and Florence. What do you got?
I'm just going with Fortnite. I don't play a whole lot of mobile games. So, I just picked what was familiar. And I've actually seen a lot of people play, Fortnite mobilely. I mean,
Yeah, I
they
mean,
made a specific phone for it, so it's like, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I also chose Fortnite. The ability to crossplay with the consoles, I think, is cool. Not that I think it's fun to
Fair.
be yeah, mobile player play with
Fair.
consoles, but I think it is. I think it is a cool thing. Uh, yeah, I'm going with Fortnite.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, next. Best indie game. We have Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of Obra Dinn, and The Messenger. What do you got?
Dead Cells is really the only game we played, and I actually did enjoy Dead Cells. So I'm going with Dead Cells. Although there's like a section of different games that I actually did look them up, and Return of Obra Dinn actually looks pretty cool.
Um, do we really need to? Dead Cells is my answer. Nothing against Celeste. Actually looks really cool. I am very interested in playing Celeste, and I will soon. I should have bought it actually when it was on sale on the Switch. That was my bad. But yeah, Dead Cells for sure. 100%. Dead Cells. Duh. Great game. I still think everybody should play it. It was an awesome game. We talked about it in the podcast one day. Is good. Is a good game. All right, next one. Games for Impact. We have Celeste, 1111 Memories Retold, Florence, Life is Strange 2, Episode 1, The Missing, J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories.
I have no idea. I don't know.
I went with Celeste because I've heard Celeste is really good. It's the only other those games that I've really heard too much about. And yeah, that's basically it. I don't really know what Games for Impact is. I didn't look too much into the category. I just wrote down the title, so I'm not sure. I guess maybe the impact, social impact. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
Well, yeah,
next category, I guess. Best performance. We have Brian Deckhart as Connor in Detroit Become Human. We have Christopher Judge as Kratos in God of War. We have Melisanthe Mahout as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed. Roger Clark as Arthur in Red Dead 2. And Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker in Spider-Man. What do you got?
No comment.
No comment again.
Yeah.
I got to give it to Christopher Judge as Kratos. I love Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker, but Christopher Judge did a great job as the performance in Kratos. Added a lot of emotion to that character, a lot of depth to that character that I think was much needed for Kratos. And I can't say enough about his performance. I thought Kratos was a really, really well done, really well put together character from that game. Yeah. So next one, we have Best Audio. We have Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Forza Horizon 4, Spider-Man, God of War, and Red Dead 2.
And I'm unfortunately going to have to say, I don't know. I don't know if I pay attention to audio that much. I know that you like a lot of music in different kinds of series and so on and so forth. It's not that I don't like the music.
Well, it's not even music. Audio is not referring necessarily just to the
music.
The sound and the way the game sounds in general. Because there is a best score, which is more so the music.
Right, and for me, I really just don't pay attention to those things. I might pick out a few sounds that really sound significant, and me and my friends might make fun of it in future times, but in general, it's just not where my focus is.
Yeah, I chose Forza Horizon 4 for this one. I think the different music stations are cool. I like the way they have the cut-ins with the person talking over, the radio station to let you know what's going on in the world around you. I think that's really cool. Obviously, the sound the attention to detail and the sound of all these cars is very well done. I don't know a whole lot about cars, but I'm sure they did a good job with them. They don't all sound the same, so I imagine there's a reason for that. And yeah, definitely Forza Horizon 4. I'm giving it to best overall sound. Now we have best score. We have Celeste, Spider-Man, God of War, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Red Fred Redem Fred 2.
It's a very similar situation to where usually, the music, the audio, it's cool, it's great, but I'm never focused on it. It's like it's not even on my radar. It's just not something that I judge. So,
Yeah. I'm giving it to Spider-Man. I really like the way that when you start swinging, the music starts playing and it gets real epic. Big fan of the music in Spider-Man. I heard Celeste actually has great music because I know the story, or at least the way the levels are done, are like tape cassettes. So music is a big part of that game. So I'm sure it has great music, and I'm excited to get around to listening to it when I get a chance to play that game. But for my knowledge, for right now, I'm giving it to Spider-Man. Yeah, that's my choice.
Bam.
So we're in the final five now, and before we do the last, the final five, I want to do some predictions for. Do you think any like a big thing with the Game Awards now, if you didn't know, is they do game reveals and game trailers during the show, in between awards and stuff like that, like. How a normal game show would have music performances. There might be one or two music performances in this. It's always really uncomfortable and weird when they do it, when they do music performances at E3, but they might do it. But the big thing they do is game reveals, and that's kind of how they get a lot of people to watch. I mean, that's why I watch. I don't watch for these awards. I mean, the awards are cool, whatever. It's award shows are as fun as they can be, but the announcements and the trailers are what really brings my eyes to the product. So is there anything that you think maybe a trailer will be shown, or some sort of announcement or date or something like that, or something that you'd like to have announced?
No, I'm actually really neutral. My mind's solely been on Ultimate lately. So,
I mean, that's one of the things I have down. A lot of people think maybe they will announce the first DLC at the Game Awards.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's the day before the game releases. Build some last second hype for the game, and by day before I mean like the hours before, because Smash Ultimate, that might be what they close the show in. That'd be dope if they're like, oh, by the way, for all the people leaving now to go buy Smash, here's something you can look forward to.
Right?
Because that's what I mean. As soon as the show ends, or even maybe before, I don't know how long it goes till. So if it doesn't end before 11:30, your boys is already outside of GameStop. I'm getting mine. I ain't getting got.
Right. One of my friends' kids actually bought me the game. So, like, I was planning to just kind of go to GameStop and kind of get it, and I already had the days taken off. But now I have to figure out how I'm going to take this little kid to go to GameStop.
Give me my game, bro. I initially had it pre-ordered on Amazon, and then I switched it over to GameStop because I was like, I want this at midnight. I'm going to be pissed off if I take off of work and wait for Amazon and it doesn't arrive until, when I'm already off of work, because that's what always happens when I order something from Amazon. So I was like, I'm just going to go. I'm taking off of work. I'm going to get it at midnight. I'm playing it until I can't keep my eyes open anymore. And then I'm waking up the next day whenever I want and getting right back into my seat.
Correct. That is my game plan. That's what's going to go happen. I have an extra probably hour because now I have to drive to this kid's house and pick him up, which, nothing but love. Like, as soon as they told me, like, hey, did you buy the game? I was like, yeah, I pre-ordered. I only put $5 on it. And they're like, oh, good, because so-and-so bought it for you.
Well, that's really nice.
And I was like, wow. He's like a little kid, though, man. Like, he's not little, all right? So he's probably, like, freshman in high school and stuff like that. But I was like, man, for him to save up his money to buy it, so much respect, dude.
Exactly.
And I was like,
I understand. Like, that's a good enough reason. Like, I would still want to play it at midnight, but I would understand, like, being
no, we're gonna get this workaround. We're gonna get this work. Like, even after.
Hey kid, where'd you buy it? I'm picking you up.
Right. Yeah. That's what's gonna happen.
11:00 at night. He's got school tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, well, I don't. Let's go. We're getting this game.
Right. Yeah. This essentially what's gonna happen. And even if I have to be like, all right, well, he can just go to school tired.
Yeah.
'Cause I'll bring my Switch over just so he can play it with me for a little while, and then I'll go home when
Well,
you
that's
kick me
true.
out.
Like when I imagine someone will come with me to pick up the game, and I'm just gonna bring my Switch with me so they can play it on the way home. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't want them doing that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna let them
like
play it on the way. I'm
forget.
the first one.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, I was like, really?
Yeah, because then
Really?
yeah, no.
Well, question, just because we're on it, are you going to unlock characters first, or are you going to go straight into multiplayer?
Unlock characters. You kidding me?
Okay, well, there's a bunch of people that are like, no, I'm just going straight into competitive, and I was like,
With
I'm
my
gonna
8
unlock characters.
Nah, dude,
Yeah,
I need my characters.
yeah,
And it's not hard to unlock the characters from what I told. And I like to, before I go online to fight people, I like to get a feel of everything because it's going to be a little bit different. I can't just jump head first, and that's not what I want to do anyway. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna play my classic. I'm gonna unlock
World
a
of
few
Light.
characters. I'm gonna check out the World of Light, and then go from there. So other things that I think might be shown, Last of Us 2, I think will probably get a date. Halo Infinite might get another trailer.
Oh yeah.
And I think we'll get the final Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. But other than that, everything else is up in the air. Anything can happen. Persona 6, probably not. I hope. But
How do you feel about Final Fantasy VII remake, man? Every news I hear about that damn game just scares me.
it's not. There's nothing. There's nothing to think about at the moment. It is so far into if it's not already out now, it's not coming out for a while. It was supposed to come out last year or 2 years ago or something like that. It's not. So I'm not. It's not even in my radar. If they announce something on it, that'd be cool. But it's not something that I expect. Look at the last couple games that Nomura's worked on. Final Fantasy 15, 10 years. Kingdom Hearts 3, 10 years. Like, granted, they were made kind of concurrently to some extent. There's a lot of overlap in those times, but these games, it's not going to be a quick game. We're not going to get it anytime soon, I don't think. So if we do see something from it, awesome. If not, I'm not expecting it, so.
Yeah, everything I hear is like, anytime anybody talks about that company, like Sony and Square Enix and all that other stuff, like, they basically say the same thing. Yeah, we'll be in development with that game. It sounds like they haven't started yet.
No, they did. They showed footage of it a few years ago, but I'm sure that footage is probably now on the showroom floor, and they're doing it slightly different or something. I don't really know, but we'll see. I mean, like I said, if they show something for Final Fantasy VII, hype. If not, I'm sure they will show some other things that I'm not even thinking about right now that I'll be like, whoa, that is exactly what I want to see. So maybe some DLC trailers for like Spider-Man or something like that. I know the 3rd DLC comes out soon. The first 2 are already out. And yeah, stuff like that. So let's go on to the final 5 categories. We have number 5, Best Art Direction. The choices are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Return of the Obra Dinn, and Red Dead 2.
Looking it up, I really enjoy Obra Dinn. It's just unique.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the art style. All the other stuff's kind of a little too polished. I wouldn't say that about Octopath, but,
I mean, I'm going with God of War because the polished look and the way everything in that game looks is really cool. And also the connections to mythology, I think, is really cool. So I gave it to God of War on that one. The next one we have is Best Narrative, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Life is Strange 2, Episode 1, Spider-Man, and Red Dead 2.
I just went ahead and went with God of War. Again, the only game I've played is Spider-Man, and I didn't care for the story too much.
I love the story of Spider-Man 2, or Spider-Man. I thought it was a very good story. Way better story than I was expecting, and that's why I gave it to Spider-Man 2. Or why do I keep calling it Spider-Man 2? Spider-Man. It's only the first one. There's no 2 yet. There will be a 2. But I liked the story. I liked the way it set up the future, and I liked the story itself. I thought it was really, really well done, really well told, and really well portrayed by all the different characters. Next game is we have Best Game Direction. We have A Way Out, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead 2.
God of War.
Spider-Man. I think that's what most of these answers come down to now. There's just us yelling God of War and Spider-Man. There's not much more I can say. I really enjoyed everything about Spider-Man, so it gets my choices for a lot of these. Lance is, feels the same way about God of
Pretty
War.
much.
So
Yeah.
it's the way it's going to go. Best ongoing game. This one I think is another
No-brainer.
no-brainer. And you will see from when I announce the choices. Fortnite, Destiny 2 Forsaken, No Man's Sky, Overwatch, and Rainbow Six Siege. And why did you choose Fortnite?
I really wish I could say Overwatch. I really wish I could.
It's
I
not
really
you
wish
can't.
I
You can't.
could.
Because
But
Overwatch, all they do now is add skins. Like they don't keep the game as fresh. Like whereas Fortnite, they're constantly adding stuff because it's in beta. They're adding in some tracking and adding new game modes and taking game modes out and changing the way the game up so constantly. There's no reason not to say Fortnite. And also how popular it is. There's always a huge player base. You're never waiting like for 10 minutes for games. There's just always people down to play and people playing at the same time, you know?
right, and it's clearly killing the game right now. But this is kind of my dirty little secret. Is like I like Overwatch. I actually like it a
Oh, I
lot.
love Overwatch.
But I think they're messing up, man. I think they're
They're
digging holes, man.
They're focused on the wrong things right now, I think. And I think everybody at Blizzard is. I think there's a weird sort of change going on at Blizzard where it's starting to feel more like Activision having like the grand scheme of all the things going down rather than Blizzard being the Blizzard we've known for the past 10, 20 years, you know?
No, I think some of the problems with Overwatch is something that Blizzard has a problem with overall. I don't necessarily think that the game itself is like the result of their merger and things of that nature and how the culture's changed. I honestly think that's just like when they made this game, they made it in the like Blizzard way to where it's as friendly as and PG as possible, and I think that was the wrong approach to this general game in itself. They kind of cross-pollinated different kinds of groups and don't know how to satisfy them in a way that's satisfactory. And so, there's issues with the balance of the game. They constantly seem to just flat out break their game, in a sense, to where certain characters are just kind of really OP. And, the party system doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So there's some glaring weaknesses in the actual game itself that I don't think is the result of, company culture. It's just they don't patch the game fast enough and they don't add enough content. So you mentioned that in Fortnite, and that's just a real big issue. And they wouldn't have rushed out content to begin with. And I know why they don't, but that's starting to hurt them. And I don't think you can do that in today's environment. I think you just need to, if you have to, sloppily release things and just be sure to have a strong enough team to fix those issues when they arise. Because that's kind of what we want. Like, Overwatch would be doing so much better if it had more characters, and then they design characters for metas, and blah, 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 blah. And they had scoreboards and a more competitive environment, and they satisfied all those different things. And I'm sorry I'm going on a rant. I want Overwatch to be doing better. I generally have so much love for the game, but like I can't even play it anymore. I started.
It's too frustrating, man. Right? It's one of the few games that you'll play a game and you'll be like, I'm not having fun. The teams don't work like you want them to. No one plays the proper roles. It feels like every game you're in with 5 DPS, and there's nothing you can do because you're like, either I go tank or healer, but like we're still missing something.
Right.
And everybody's selfish, and it's not in the best state. And like you said, there's some characters that are overpowered. Like there's people out there calling for them to delete Brigitte completely from the game. I think that's a little far, but whatever. Like
right.
there's the balance is an issue. There's always issues with that game, but yeah, it's impossible to not give it to Fortnite for everything that we've said in the past hour talking about this. There's no way you can't give it Fortnite. Fortnite's too big right now to lose out on that. And then we come up to the finals, the game of the year. I have a top 3 for this.
I was gonna do that too.
Okay, cool. So, game of the year, the nominees are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Monster Hunter World. What do you have?
So mine's kind of this weird 3-way tie of Spider-Man, God of War, and Red Dead Redemption. Mind you, I have not played God of War or Red Dead Redemption, but they just have overwhelmingly glowing reviews. And, like, I have a feeling yours might be a little bit different, but, like, I don't know. This is just, I don't know. People gloat about those games, continue to gloat about those games, and, who knows where it's going to go.
Mine are different because I am a Red Dead 2 hater, as a lot of people would like to call me. I don't give a flying F about that game. I think it is not much of a game and more of an experience. There's parts of it that are too realistic for its own good, and I think it's a pretty game, but it's whatever. Like, it doesn't interest me in the slightest, and some people might hate that, and I apologize to those people. But I don't care about Red Dead. So my 3 is not a three-way tie. I have them sort of positioned. I have Monster Hunter World 3rd. I have God of War 2nd, and I have Spider-Man 1st. I think Spider-Man and God of War is a lot closer than God of War and Monster Hunter are. But I wanted to give all 3 of those games credit, as I played a good bit of all of them. I finished the 2 that I could finish. Well, I finished the story for all 3 of them. Monster Hunter, I mean, you can still do stuff after you finish the story, and I put in over 100 hours of that game. So I clearly liked it to some extent. Yeah, but I mean, Spider-Man, my favorite game of the year. It's just too fun. It's too fun. Got to give it to Spider-Man. So that was it. Those are our picks and predictions for the Game Awards, which you can catch on all the streaming services. Twitch, I believe it's on. I believe it's on Mixer, YouTube Live. I believe it's on, like, all of those. On December 6th, that's next Thursday. And I believe it starts at 7 p.m. I could be wrong about that. But, yeah, it should be a fun show. There's going to be reveals. There's going to be winners. And last year, the dude who made A Way Out was, saying F-bombs and talking all about the industry and was being a crazy guy. And maybe he'll do it again this year, So there's that to look forward to. That's all I got.
All right. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Next week, I believe we have the Coming Soon for December, which would be pretty interesting, So check us out then, and I'll see you guys later, man.
Later.